Hello, everyone, and welcome to Women in STEM. As usual, I'm your host, and also as usual, Whitney is your host, but as different, we're in person. Hello!
What's up, dogs? I know, you're thinking that I look a little bit different today. My hair was not working. I decided to put on a hat. I think it's the new me.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could become a hat person.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nice, fresh Cal Ranch hat. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pretty fresh.
It's like medium fresh, at least.
Yeah. Well, I found it in my garage, so it can't be like the freshest, because it's not like straight from the manufacturer.
Right,
But...
like you didn't go and buy it directly.
No, but this is like the third day I've worn it, so...
So it's basically fresh, is what we're saying.
Fresh.
And, so today we're going to be talking about the movie Hunt for the Wilder People. I'm sure you've all seen it, and if not, you should just go watch it, and then, then you'll understand what we're talking about.
It is the... How do you say it? The best cinematic masterpiece of all time, I think would be the way to describe that.
I think that's a pretty good description, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're exaggerating,
No,
You're not making any completely baseless claims or anything huge.
Yeah, and I don't know
Totally
how many
reasonable.
other movies I might have said that before now about in these videos that we do every week.
Yeah.
But
it's true.
this is the best one.
Yeah.
And there are no ones that I will say that about after this. This is like the king.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll believe you. I'll take your word on that.
That's good. Okay.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So the movie starts on the note E.
It's not an
That's
E
the whole thing.
flat.
No, it's a
Common
regular
misconception. It's not an E flat. It's just an E.
E. Yeah.
Everyone knows that. Hi, Wilbur.
Yeah. I can usually get it pretty spot on before the soundtrack starts. I tested myself in my car on my way here.
Oh, good.
By watching it on Plex. Fun fact, Plex gives you like 120-second ads. Hated that.
That's
one of
way
them was in
too long.
Spanish. The entire thing, and they were like...
They ran out of English
and then
ads
they said
'cause they were running them for too
I-86,
long.
and then they would keep going in Spanish. Oh, no,
That's
please
funny.
don't leave me.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no. She got something to say.
She probably wants to talk about the movie.
Oh, yeah. Really? She is saying... Yeah, so she's saying that Taika Waititi, fantastic director. He may have messed up a little bit, as far as Love and Thunder goes, but...
Facts.
This was
this
his movie.
This is a different movie. This is his movie.
Like, when
This is
some
like
people
movie
peak
of all
in high
time.
school, he peaked with Hunt for the Wilder People. He will never get better.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I actually really agree with that.
I understand.
It's scientific.
It is, and we are the women in STEM. Speaking of STEM,
Yes.
what? I had
fantastic.
thoughts. Did you have thoughts?
I had the thought, I should probably think of what the letters stand for, but other than that, I didn't have the rest of the thoughts.
Okay, well, S is obviously Skux life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. This much is obvious.
Help.
Okay.
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 And next is T.
Yes.
T as in Taika
Taika
Waititi.
Waititi. Easy.
T also as in toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
But T also could be controversially for Tupac.
True.
Tupac-
Actually,
Yeah.
I feel like Tupac might win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Cool.
Skux life, Tupac.
Yeah.
Then we
Skux
have
life,
E.
Tupac. Could be egg. Because the first chapter is a real bad egg.
Yeah.
Alternatively, expedition. Because that's kind of the
whole
entire
thing.
movie.
Yeah.
Why are you screaming at? Oh,
What?
I think she likes expedition.
Yeah. They're
Is that
saying
what you're saying?
yes.
Yeah.
They're cheering for expedition.
Yeah. Wilbur.
Hi, Wilbur. He's so little.
He's so tiny. So
Okay.
expedition, yeah.
I like that.
M. I had a really good one earlier.
Oh, I hope you can remember it.
Me too.
Because often we forget our really good M's and then we just say, well, we can always do movie. So it's such a cop-out.
Absolutely, we can.
Yeah.
We should stop saying that.
Yeah, I agree.
And it wasn't for Maori. It could be majestical.
Oh,
But
it could be
that
majestical.
wasn't what I thought of earlier. And now it's gonna bug me.
Because
for a
then
long time.
I think if it is majestical, it's nice because it can go just around Skux life, majestical, lead right into each other.
They do. They do. Oh, I think it was that mountain where Bella wanted to be buried.
Oh, yeah.
It's manga I don't know. Translates to like Land of the Clouds or something. Which actually Aotearoa translates to Land of the Clouds, but
it's just like a different word with a similar meaning.
Yeah.
The beginning of it? We said it opens on an E, and then we were like, speaking of E, right? That's as far as we got. Yeah, so chapter 1, a real bad egg.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think he's that bad of an egg.
I think he's misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of a lot of the point of the movie, right? Is that there are systems set in place that are supposed to help, like, children, but in his case and in the case of a lot of other people, they're not effective. So people, like, misunderstand these kids or mistreat them, and so it's kind of a pretty vicious, like, cycle, you could say. That's a lot of the point of the movie.
And I think that, like, as long as you've got Paula Halls in the world who take something that is supposed to be, like, basically non-profit. They're like, you know, it's for a completely different reason, and they make it all about them. She's like, oh, well, it's not the official motto, but it's my motto, you know? Like, as long as you got them, I don't know what, but it's...
Yeah.
You're always going to call them a bad egg.
Yeah, the programs are never going to be as effective as the goal, right? You have this vision of what it's supposed to be like, but in practice, as long as you have, those people who make it about themselves, or who take it too seriously, but, like, in the wrong direction, where they're not concerned about helping children, but they're just concerned about, like, discipline, then, yeah.
Like, these kids are supposed to be our future.
Yeah.
If you call them a bad egg their whole life, they're gonna be a bad egg their whole life.
Yeah. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Spitting, throwing stuff, loitering, graffiti, all of that.
Yeah, and, like, how many of those are really actually bad crimes that, like, make you a bad person? You know what I mean? Like, loitering? Move. Like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. No, you got a point there, Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, at some point, like, you're just turning these children into the thing that you say you don't want them to be, but then you never give them a different narrative.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, really. Yeah. We're going on psychology today. The poor guy. He do be shaking.
These ones are so chill, though. Hi. Are you going to scream at me? He's got stuff to say. Oh, I started it on accident.
Okay.
Because I couldn't think of anything else to say. But if you can, we can just do it. Hi, Wilbur.
The one most important scene in the entire movie, controversially, I would say, is Taika Waititi's monologue. The funeral. In case you haven't watched this movie before, A, that makes you a horrible person, probably a worse crime than murder.
And these are big words. We said we were going to be controversial in this section.
Yeah. And B, I didn't mean to spoil it for you, but if you know anything about the movie, you should know that there's a funeral within the first, like, 20 minutes of the film. In which Auntie Bella dies. I will spoil that for you as well.
Yeah. This is we're not a spoiler-free channel, because we feel like in order to talk about the movie, you have to talk about the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to be specific. Yeah, so he's in the care of Auntie Bella, and it's, like, his first real friend who treats him as a person instead of a problem. And then she passes away tragically.
Like, she even put a hottie in his bed.
Yeah. That's love.
That's love.
And then, so she passes away very tragically, and now he kind of is like, what do I do now, you know?
The only parental figure I've ever had in my life is just, like, dead. Yeah. And they don't even know why. Yeah, probably she just gave away all of her love, and then it just, like... she only had enough love for Hector, I think. That's a lesson for you. Don't give more than you have.
Or else you'll die. And
like
Taika Waititi will give the most awkward eulogy at your funeral. It's like
awkward. It was amazing.
It's awesome. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
It rocks.
It does. It does.
It's highly quotable.
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
You know, sometimes in life, feel like you're a sheep trapped in a maze designed by wolves. If you ever get to that point, you always remember there's 2 doors to choose from, and behind that first door are all the nummiest treats you can imagine. Fanta, Doritos, LMP, burger rings, Coke Zero. But next to that door, there's also another door. Not the Fanta door, not the burger ring door, a door that's harder to get through. Does anybody know what's behind that door? Anybody want to take a guess?
Vegetables?
No, not what? No. Anyone else? She could be staring me down.
She just came out
Jesus.
of the door just at the time. She says, Jesus?
No, it's not Jesus. You would think that. I thought Jesus the first time I come across that door, but it's not Jesus. It's another door. And does anyone know what's on the other side of that door? Anyone want to take a guess? Jesus, yeah, Jesus. He's tricky like that, Jesus. So let us pray to Jesus, please, to make it a little bit easier to get through that door and enjoy on the other side our bounty of delicious confectionery. Take it away, Serena. That one's also note accurate in my head.
And 0 time has passed.
0 at all. We're not in a different location.
No.
Nothing has happened. Anyways, so momentous occasions in the movie.
Yes.
As you were explaining, the shed.
The shed,
The
yes. Post-funeral, Ricky is like, well, Hector doesn't want me, so I guess I'm probably gonna have to fake my own death and run away. And just live in the wilderness, because, yeah.
Well, like, kids
What
will
else
be
would you
kids. But, like, that's what kids do. You
Even
pack
kids,
your bag and you run away.
Yeah, even kids who have, like, a super good home life, there's just always that dream of, like, oh, I'm gonna run away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get, like, a red knapsack and, like, this is how it is.
Well, I think there's that drive of adventure in each of us, in which, case we can all relate to Ricky Baker. But then the ones of us that society calls granola or dirt bags, those are the ones that actually do it. I'm just saying that Ricky preemptively Skux or, like, gangsterified the granola life, the dirt bag
true.
life.
Actually, that is true.
Another
Another controversial but correct opinion.
But I don't think I know a single
video.
dirt bag that doesn't, like, I shouldn't call them dirt bags. I should. It's what the community calls them.
Yeah.
I don't know a single outdoorsy person that doesn't like hunt for the wilder people.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
You bring it up on any backpacking trip,
and everyone's like,
most of
oh,
the
I've
people
seen
there
that
are like,
movie. I
"Oh my
love
gosh,
that
I love that
movie.
movie."
Yeah. Which is fair.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have to add to that is that I don't know anybody who has seen this movie who doesn't like this movie.
I feel like I talked to one person who didn't like it. I'm not their friend anymore.
Might
Is
be
that
for other
bad?
reasons, and it might be just for that reason,
Yeah.
and either way, it's valid.
I mean, you shouldn't be talking to these people.
Yeah. You don't like
For the wilder
For
people?
the Wilder People?
Like, are you okay?
One of the funniest and yet tenderest movies of all time.
It's true.
Like,
When they give him a dog and he's like, oh, they're celebrating his birthday and he's like, this is the best birthday I've ever had. Actually, I think it's the only birthday I've ever had. And they're like,
how could you not be like, he's just little. Like, he feels
he's actually quite big.
in a lot of ways.
Wait, the guy who
Nice.
ate all the pies, eh?
In a lot of ways, he has to behave very grown up.
Well, he has
But at
to.
the end of the day, like, he's a child.
He's a child.
So it's nice to see him just get to have, like, a birthday cake.
Yeah.
And a present.
Yeah.
And that's like, yay! Things that should be normal for every child, but that he doesn't get to experience until, like, this point in his life. Like, how can you not feel for that,
And he gets to make those childish mistakes because of the people that he's with. Not only Bella, who's like, I'll be your home away from home. But then also Heck, who's like, I don't think Heck really had much of a childhood either. So he gets to kind of live his childhood through Ricky. It's like, because, when Bella met him, he was, and I quote, a scruffy old grifter who smelled like methylated spirits, right? So really, it's just like a young boy and a really old young boy just adventuring together in the bush, which is amazing, and they have so much fun, except not at first. But I mean,
but that's fine. I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I like that it's like a coming of age story for both of them. Like, even the adult gets to, like, live what his childhood should have been like, right?
Yeah.
Where he gets to have a connection with somebody and like learn how to read and all those things that you're supposed to do as a kid.
It's like the whole, you know, these days, well, all the therapy people are like, your inner child, and you have to get in touch with your inner child and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first. In, I don't know what year this movie was made, but forward thinkers.
Think
That's
about
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Which is why, to reiterate, it's Taika Waititi's peak. His
It is.
absolute best movie.
The best movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not just his. We're
It's
bringing this
actually
back. This is the greatest
best
movie of all time.
Like, think of all the movies that you've seen, and then, like, isn't this one a little bit better than that?
Cinematic masterpiece. Like, they take the stuff that's cringy in the old movies, and that's really funny. Sorry, squirrel moment, but it's not a squirrel, it's a cat. Climbing the kitchen window. Anyways, where was I going?
Oh, you're talking about...
No, my ADHD. This was a good one.
Hang on. We were talking about Taika Waititi, and it's the best movie ever.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the cinema.
Yes.
So they take things that are normally like cheesy in the old movies that you cringe at nowadays, but it's funny in this movie because it's past the time where this was like a normal thing to do. Like, I'm talking about, you know, the scene where Bella is hunting the pig, right early in the movie, and she's like got the knife and she's like, and you don't actually see her like harm the pig really much, but then the screen turns red and then you see like these really cheesy close-ups of Ricky Baker's face.
It's like really theatrical.
Yeah, and then she like rubs the blood on her face. Like, it's hilarious. It's iconic. And I don't think any other movie could get away with that, really.
No,
not as well.
Because they just don't have the right tone. Like, it would be too obviously like cheesy and over the top, but like it would just fall flat maybe.
Yeah.
But it totally fits like the tone of this movie, the humor, and like the style of it, and the directing and the editing. You're like, oh yeah, totally.
Like, that's
Like,
Taika.
the screen
That's
turns red.
Taika at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like even later when Ricky is in the bush and he's starving, and he like keeps seeing food, but then he like blinks and it's like a person, you know. That's
then,
very funny, and that's
Like,
something
heck
that
is a talking hamburger.
yeah, it's
Like,
a
who can
talking
get away with
hamburger,
that?
and it's it works really well because they've like set this tone in the direction, and so they all know going in like, oh, this is kind of what it's going to be like, and then later in editing they just like perfect it. It's awesome. And it works in a way that a lot of other movies wouldn't work.
It's true. It's true. Another interesting aspect, the music in this movie. What the heck is going on? Right? I have shown this movie over the last like 3 years, give or take, to probably 12 of my friends, which means I have watched it more than 12 times in the last 3 years.
Because these are individual viewings.
They are. They
Yeah.
really are. And sometimes I think I've watched it with you 3 times. Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we both are like, if we both have time to watch a movie,
Why would you watch any other
we're
one?
like,
other
well,
than like maybe RRR. But
yeah. But that's like a longer,
that's
it's a
big
bigger
commitment.
investment.
Yeah.
So it's, if you have time to watch a short movie, we watch Hunt for the Wilder People.
Short.
And if we have time to watch a long movie, we watch RRR.
It's true. It's true. RRR is pretty good, but I'm still Hunt for the Wilder People, man.
And that's fair.
It's where it goes. Yeah, but the music, I show it to people, and the first scene, it's zooming, like, there's a drone or something going over the mountains in Aotearoa, probably South Island from what I can guess. You can see all this lush, green, beautiful wilderness. And what does the music do? And my friend's always like, the fetch are you showing me? Like, what is going on here? And I'm like, just wait. And I'm like singing along with it, and they're like, I'm like, I promise you this is the best movie you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they don't believe me at very first. They very quickly turn that opinion around. Like, every single time, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know,
And
like,
if
I
not,
don't
we're
know
not
what...
friends anymore, so like...
True. I don't know what
Problem
people's
solved.
like hesitation is with the movie though. Like, everyone likes it, you know.
Yeah.
So like to go into it and you're like, I just don't understand that mindset.
Like, excuse
Open
you.
your mind, open your heart. You're gonna have a great time because
You
it's
might
a great
need subtitles,
movie.
but like...
You might need subtitles. That's
The
fine.
first time I watched it, I needed
Skill
subtitles.
issue, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a people issue, not a gear issue.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it's called user error.
That's the one.
Yeah.
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 You think for me. I don't have to. You've had the brain cell, though, for the past, like, probably many
I tried
months.
to give it back.
You've got me there. User error.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but within the music, not only is it weird and quirky, but it really works for the film, but can we talk about Nina Simone?
Yes.
And how I thought she was a man at first?
She is, like, the, like, tenor woman of all time.
Like, I had to look her up, because I was looking up the soundtrack, and I was like, I really like, it was Cinnamon. Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna come to? You know? And it kind of sounds like a guy. Like, no, it completely sounds like a guy. And I pulled it up on Spotify, and I was like, this can't be it. There's a woman on the cover album. But, like, I don't want a cover. I want the song from the movie. And I hit play on it, and sure enough, it was the same exact one. I was like, is Nina Simone a lady? It blew my entire mind.
That's so funny.
But Cinnamon, up there. Skux Life. It's in my liked playlist. What can I say? And, of course, the Ricky Baker birthday song. You sing that to someone on a backpacking trip, it is stuck in their head for months after. I have given many people that gift. I think I've taught 4 classes now, about to teach my 5th, so buckle up, buttercups.
If anybody's about to take the backpacking class, beware. You will get the Ricky Baker happy birthday song.
You will.
Stuck in your head forever.
It's true.
It's just the way it has to be, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, there's such great, like, the soundtrack for the movie. Yeah, it's very interesting, like, with the original pieces that are written for it. And then they draw from, like, incredible artists. Like, they have, like, Nina Simone, Leonard Cohen. It's, yeah, like,
it's a good one, too.
It's awesome. Like, it's so good.
But there's songs that, like, nobody knows.
Yeah.
And they're
not picking their Leonard Cohen's most famous song, Nina Simone's most famous song.
No.
But they fit, like, so perfectly.
So
I
good.
love the scene when they're playing that Leonard Cohen song, and they're, like, rotating around, like, through the seasons, and, like, watching Ricky and Heck, like, walk, and then watching Paula try to catch up with them. And, like, yeah, you see the time pass. It's just, I mean, it's awesome. It's a really great moment.
Okay, and speaking of that scene, when Paula finally catches up to Ricky, they're across this ravine, right? She's on this side and he's on this side. And she's like, Ricky, stop right there! And first of all, I don't know why he stops. She has no authority over him.
Yeah,
like, she kind of does,
walking.
but he could just go the other way. And she couldn't get there, because this ravine is, like, deep and stuff. So her next plan of action is, Andy, go get him. She tells her dumb cop friend.
She's so funny.
This is entirely too nice. Who's that Crocodile Dundee guy over there? Like, that's Andy to a T, right? And
it's so funny. It's like, you know, when there's a villain and then, like, a kind of useless sidekick that's just there for, like, comic relief. That's kind of their dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's like, no. And she's like, do it. And she, like, basically tries to push him off there. And so as he's about to go over and try and climb down, she's like, Ricky, you come over here. And he's like, no. She's like,
well, why would I do that?
Then they have this whole debate about Sarah Connor. And then she offers him Scroggin. And it's like he's tempted.
It's like, oh.
She takes into account that he's, you know, the chubby boy. That they have been entirely, like, they've been advertising for Ricky to come back, and they're, like, drawing him so big and fat and everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so she's like, well, obviously, any morsel of food for this kid that's survived for months in the forest,
yeah, I'm like,
providing his own
he's
food.
He's been roughing it. He's fine.
And she's like, this Scroggin will get him to climb across this ravine to me.
And he's like, no.
And every time my friends are like, the frick is Scroggin? For those of you who are noobs who don't know, Scroggin is trail mix, but it's New Zealand's version. They say a lot of things better and a lot of things worse. So Scroggin is one of the neutral ones.
Yeah, I like it.
That one's neutral. But cheese toasties?
Come on, dude.
Spaghetti and cheese toasties? They're not that bad, but, like...
But stop.
Stop naming your food toasties, roasties, Weet-Bix. One time, they waterboarded a guy just because he asked for more Weet-Bix. It's not getting you anywhere.
Funny. I love his, like, Ricky's stories, where, like, they're probably mostly true, But he also could say anything that he wanted. And people would believe him because they don't know what it's like, you know?
Yeah. He's most likely totally exaggerating.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure they didn't waterboard someone for asking for more wheat bix. Like, maybe he got in trouble.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, like...
He
wasn't in that much trouble.
Just for more wheat bix. Like, I think
no, they
you heard
didn't.
wrong.
Yeah, like, no, they didn't. You heard that from, like, a fifth-hand resource. It's not correct.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even the kid you knew.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Okay, other notable things.
Other notable things. The whole movie, honestly. I like we can talk about the costume design. So every time, like, Ricky dresses very, like, he's cool on the streets, you know? And he's probably not. He's just, like, a super awkward guy. I love that this hoodie that zips all the way up.
It's so perfect.
That's awesome. Everyone should wear those.
Why don't we have
Everyone should wear those. But over time, like,
it's
as
the closest I've got to it.
he becomes more... When you... Shwink.
Where is it?
Oh, it's inside.
Oh, it's inside. I was like, is it gone?
With the hair still sticking out.
Well, it has to. It's like a little elephant.
That's so good. Over time, as he becomes more, like, acclimated to bush life, you know, and as he becomes closer with Heck and they have a better understanding, he starts to dress like him, right? And this is because he's in the wilderness with, like, his one hoodie and his, like, tennis shoes, you know, so, like, obviously he needs better gear. So over time, they, like, kind of snatch it, which is fine. It's like they're on the run. What are you supposed to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they end up wearing these, like, matching jackets, except one is red and one is blue. So cute.
It's, like, symbolic of how he is getting... You know how that one scene, he's like, you know, how do you know all this wilderness stuff? And Heck's like, well, it's called the knack. He's like, I don't know, you just get it. Like, you just have the knack, right? That's him kind of learning the knack from the best bushmen in the country. And then, like, he refers to himself, they're equal best bushmen in the country. Part of it is probably because of their gear. You know, they're dressed the same, symbolically, as equally best bushmen in the country, even though we all know Ricky's the better one. I mean, Heck knows what he's doing, sure.
Yeah, but did Ricky break his leg?
No.
No. Did Ricky get shot in the behind? Also no.
Ricky did the shooting. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like,
so who's better?
It's gotta be Ricky. I mean, we all know that professionals never make mistakes and they never hurt themselves in the backcountry. That doesn't happen.
They only hurt others. That's what we can learn from Ricky Baker.
Well, that's a fact. I think I read that somewhere in a peer-reviewed article.
Probably.
Yeah. So
it must be true.
It has to be.
Yeah. So it's symbolic of them becoming both equally best bushmen in the country, but also it's symbolic of them becoming, like, having that understanding of each other and becoming, like, realizing how similar they are to each other, despite the surface level differences of, like, you're 1,000 years old and you hate me and I'm gonna run away and set the shed on fire and build a decoy of myself to put inside the shed and leave a note on the outside, not considering the fact that I'm setting it on fire, so nobody's gonna find the note.
I know, that's the best part.
It burns down.
No, actually my favorite part is the tin plate. Like, of all the things, you could have written on a paper plate, but it's tin and that's the thing that survives out of the whole barn.
Yeah.
Iconic.
And so then they find a tin plate with, like, a badly drawn face on it. And
it's
they're like,
no child, foster kid. Like,
he's still out there.
As opposed to, like, later in the movie when, this is so sweet, how Ricky Baker, he writes this haiku about Hector. And Heck's like, you know, what are you writing? He's like, oh, haikus. He's like, well, read it to me. I'll tell if it's any good. He's like, well, this one's just a personal one, which is so sweet that he's like, he loves him enough that he's like, I don't know.
I want a little poem just for me.
This for me about you. It's not even like to suck up to him. It's like, this is just for me. But then he, you know, nudges him into reading it, and Heck's like, well, just stunned, speechless, because nobody's ever written poetry about him before, and he's like, this is kind of like the sweetest thing. And I think that's where their relationship really is, like, solidified. It's right there. It's like,
you think so?
You know, I can't be without the other person at this point. They're fellow lonely bushmen.
Yeah, I think so. It's a very, like, just a moment of, like, emotional vulnerability where he's like, well, I wrote a poem, and, like, now I'm gonna read it to you, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, like, that's hard for a lot of people to do, even if they are, like, are grown-ups, or they, like, write professionally, or, like, write poems, you know? So just for him to be, like, sitting on his little bunk bed, like... And so it was the best. I mean... It was the best.
As opposed to his earlier haikus, where he's talking about maggots. Oh, that was the other M. That's the M I was thinking of. Maggots! Heaps and heaps of maggots. Wriggling around. Like moving rice. Like... the maggots.
That's so good.
Maggots. You know, that's what he just writes haikus about, everything that he feels.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes from this kind of flat-ish character in the beginning who's... Excuse you.
Bless you.
Oh. Bless you. Who's like, he's thinking about maggots, or, you know, kingy, you wanker. Like, awful language. Bella's like, shut it down.
It's like, stop. You're supposed to use poetry to express your feelings, but not like that.
You asshole. I hate you heaps. I hope you die soon.
I love soon. In that one, it's so funny. I hope you die soon.
In pain.
In pain.
He's just gonna drive it home. He's drilling it in. Man, but then it goes from that to, like, Hector, you're basically my best friend in the world.
Yeah.
Like...
That's so sweet.
So heart-wrenching.
Yeah. I love when they're in the little cabin and they see the wanted poster of them. And Ricky's like, Caucasian. Well, they got that wrong. You're obviously white. Like, he's like, he's smart, but he's not intelligent.
He got the street smarts.
I mean? Like, he doesn't know a lot of stuff, but he knows a lot of stuff. He has the knack. He just doesn't know the word for Caucasian.
Yeah.
Which is
well, he's not Caucasian. He's Maori.
Yeah.
Which is
so
another
it's like,
M.
why would he have to know?
Yeah. Yeah, like, why would he need to know?
He's got that
he's
wrong,
totally
so
Maori.
You're obviously white.
Got that wrong, you're obviously white. Can never...
It's like... No, that's me. Oh, so good. I think, yeah, there's just a lot of really good, funny moments like that.
Yeah, like in the same scene when he's like, well, something about... Hector's trying to be like, oh, you know, they think I'm, like, on the run. They think I'm a fugitive and I'm gonna go to prison. He's like, well, and you're Asian. They think I'm a pervert and Asian.
Yeah. He's just trying to add on to the list of misconceptions about him. Yeah. Like, they don't get you at all. They think you're Asian. And he's like, that's not what that means. I'm gonna get in trouble. I love their, like, the recurring group of hunters that they keep passing.
Oh, they're crack up.
They're so funny.
Say it one more time. Call me a pervert. He's like, you perv. Get him good.
Go to town.
It just got real.
Yeah, that's really great. I love, like, it just adds more to, like, the vibe of, like, the hijinks, the coming of age thing, where there's, like, these passersby that they keep running into, and then, like, hilarity ensues, and then they part ways.
Yeah.
I love that they have it with the hunters, and they have it with Paula. It's a little more serious with her, because she's, like, the main enemy.
Yeah.
But they still have, like, standing on opposite ends of the ravine, and she's like, yeah, I have Scroggin! Like, trying to get him to come over.
I'm more like Sarah Connor than you. No, you're first Sarah Connor in the first movie. And before she could do chin-ups. That's just so...
Like, boom, roasted. And it's like, you're talking to a child. It's okay.
You're getting roasted by a child. Like, you are losing the roast war, respectfully.
It's so funny.
Like, up your game, man.
Yeah.
Okay, also that scene, this is smart. It's funny because it alludes to them being in New Zealand, but where they're hiding, and they're being chased, by the army people through the woods, or they're hiding behind this tree or something, and he's like, and he's trying to tell them that it's Lord of the Rings.
This is just like Lord of the Rings.
But how's Hector gonna get that? He can't even read.
Yeah.
He
he's definitely never read Lord of the Rings.
Like, he doesn't do TV, and he's, like, trying to tell him this pop culture reference. It just goes over his head, and so he's like, what? He just asks him over and over. He's like, Lord of the Rings, just while there's people, like, right there. The same people who later he's very concerned by. He's like, dire wolves! Ninjas! Child welfare! That's my favorite one. Child welfare! Yeah, of course, those are the people you should be scared of. Child welfare. I mean, they are the people who are coming after you.
Yeah.
But in your defense...
It's just that, again, that unfortunate thing where, like, child welfare sounds like a good thing. We want our children to be well, but
it's
then...
the welfare of the children.
Yeah, in the reality, it's like, that's the scariest thing that he can imagine. The dire wolves are scary. But
ninjas are scary.
Ninjas are scary, but what's even scarier than all of that is, like, his standing with child welfare. So that's interesting.
Food for thought.
I remember my...
Did I spoon feed it to him?
Yeah. I remember my film teacher saying the first time she watched this was when they were doing the International Film Festival on campus.
Amazing.
So they had,
every
like...
semester.
They
do the event. They need to do this movie every semester.
Yeah, they should. But they had, so there were, like, a ton of, like, Maori students and, like, just people in the community who were like, yes, they're watching that movie, we have to go.
Polys.
Of course, yeah, because it's, like, it's a good movie.
The best.
And it's, like,
the best.
Yeah, and it was the best. And it's, like, you know, positive, like, poly representation, which you don't get a lot of in, like, the States, you know. So they went, and my film teacher was there, and they had a blast. They're like, this is the funniest movie I've ever seen, right? And so she's like, I have to watch this with my kids, like, they would love it. And she had such a great experience, like, with the community, right? So she, like, went home and later, like, watched it with her kids. And it was a totally different vibe because they're children. And they were like, this is so sad. So she's, like, sitting there, like, it's the same movie, but just depending on the mood that you're in that day, or like the perspective that you have, or the people that you're with, like, you really feel the depths of, like, oh, this kid is so scared, like, he's having such a hard life, versus, like, oh, this is a crack up, you know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
So I think it's cool that it is so versatile, like, you can have whatever experience you want to have with it, just depending on where your mind is. But she was, like, fascinated, like, the difference in those experiences.
And at the same time, like, that's why I usually will watch it with my friends. I'm like, you can't watch it without me. Not just because I want to watch it again, but also because I'm like, you have to watch, this is a movie you have to watch with the right people. You kind of can't watch it just alone, or you're kind of like, what? Kind of like Napoleon Dynamite. If you don't watch that with the right people, you don't love it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste your time.
But if you watch it with the right people...
Waste. Yeah.
It's super funny, and, like, you have a good time.
Yeah.
Hunt for the Wilder People definitely has more depth than
It has
Napoleon
a lot more.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Which is the point, right? It's supposed to, so that's fine.
It's more similar, I guess, to Nacho Libre in depth, but not quite, like, it's still better.
Yeah. It's, like, similar humor to that.
But you have to be with the right people, otherwise, it's... I don't know. And also, who watches movies alone? Like, you can, and it's good. But they're always better with
it's, like, always more fun to watch with
sad
people.
to be alone in your basement, like,
this
is my life.
Yeah, and I feel like if you have a movie that you know, it's so fun to watch it with somebody who's watching it for the first time.
Yeah, you
because
see
then
their
half of the
face
time
and...
you're watching them.
Yeah.
Instead of watching the movie.
Even better.
And that's fun too. That's why it's fun to, like, rewatch Bahubali and Triple R.
Oh yeah.
They're fantastic movies, and you could watch them, like, over and over and over again. But, like, by yourself, or with somebody who's never seen it before, and then it's like watching it again for the first time through them.
It is. I mean, most movies that I watch again it's like watching for the first time, just because we all know that I have brain issues. Me, Whitney, what's my last name? Or I don't. I'm infamous for not remembering things, even my last name. And,
nice.
In most movies, it's like watching for the first time again. But I distinctly remember, 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, I was in a hotel room with my STL from the mission, and we were going to our mission president's, like, homecoming talk. And so, but we got there the night before, and obviously we had to watch Hunt for the Wilder People in the hotel. So we've got, like, my laptop on, and I think it was turned around so that she could see it, and I was doing something with my wet hair or something like that, and I didn't want to get it all over her bed. And so
That's fair.
I had the entire thing memorized. I knew exactly what was going on from the soundtrack. I didn't need to know, like, it's in there. Whatever I have sacrificed space for in my brain, I don't know if it's the best move on my part, but I don't regret it. because I have the whole, like, I can just sit down and watch Hunt for the Wilder People, and I am pretty sure I have, like, partial aphantasia. I can't imagine new things in my brain, but I can watch Hunt for the Wilder People in my brain, so that's a skill.
It's like a trade-off. Like, you can perfectly remember Hunt for the Wilder People if you also get aphantasia, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fair trade.
That's how that worked, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fair enough. For those of you who don't know what aphantasia is, it's when you can't see images in your brain unless you've already seen them before. Sometimes that's, like, a loophole. But you can't just, like, imagine
because then you're remembering
new
it
images.
instead of imagining it.
Yeah.
Like, if there's that thing where someone says, like, imagine an apple, and then
can't.
sometimes you imagine, like, a real apple, or some people imagine just, like, a 2D, like, a cartoon apple shape, and some people just can only see the word, right? There's, like, kind of different stages of it. Her brain's empty.
There's a brain up there? You have the brain cell, so.
No thoughts, head empty.
No head, thoughts empty. I mean, it would be true. You ain't got no head. How are your thoughts gonna be full?
Facts.
Spills out.
Think about that.
The cats are falling from the sky. I'm sorry. I'm like,
they're so funny.
they're asking for food.
The thing is, when you have, like, 2 pieces of furniture on your deck, it becomes a cat obstacle course.
You know what I mean?
So that's what we're doing here.
Like, they zoom in, they're doing
Yeah, they got the zoomies.
the jumpy things. What are those called? Bunnies do them.
Jumping?
No. There's a
Hopping.
specific word for, like, this move that a bunny will do. It's like when they just hop really high back and forth. Oh, look, there it is.
No, that's the plant food.
Oh, well, that's pretty awkward for them.
Yeah.
They were so excited.
Yeah.
That's quite unfortunate. Oh well.
It's our weekly compost. What can
Good
you
on
do?
you.
Yeah,
What can you do? Compost. Save the earth.
exactly.
The dirtbags will be happy.
It'll make up for having outside cats, which are, like, terrible for the environment. But it's like, what are you gonna do? They, when we first moved here, like, within 2 years, we had, like, a stray cat that showed up at our house. And so we were like, oh, we'll feed it and take care of it, right? And so now we always have a stray cat, at least one, at our house. But my mom realized, like, if she stops putting food out, they won't leave. They'll just stay and, like, slowly starve to death. And so then she's like, well, I can't, that seems worse, right? So we have to keep putting cat food out.
You have to. It's
Because, like, what are you gonna do? They could die.
die.
This is so serious.
And now you have
And now we have
13 cats.
Yeah. That's almost enough.
Not quite. I think you should have a few more.
No. No.
Oh no.
No, please no.
Oh, I've missed that.
Yeah. We had some good bits.
We did have some good bits.
Yeah.
In the week it's been since I saw you online.
Yeah.
Has it been a week?
It's been, like, a few days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Time flies, really.
It really does. I don't remember much about what I talked to you about last time. Oh, except I'm still mad about that paper.
I know, it's so unfair. Like, so it's like, here's the thing. And I know you all have heard this before, but just to recap, in case you missed it, or in case you're not frustrated about it, because it is frustrating. Imagine you, like, spend a super long time writing a paper, and you think it's, like, pretty good, and you check the rubric, and, like, everything that's on there you have in your paper. So you're like, great, awesome. And you turn it in, not realizing that it's, like, 1 day late, but it's only 1 day and it's on a weekend. So you're like, that's fine, like, no big deal. I could just email the professor or the TA or whatever. I'll probably get a couple points docked. No!
The injustice?
You get 47 points docked.
3 out of 50!
Hello?
Hello? I'm still angry.
It's ridiculous. Probably, I mean, I'm sure it'll, you know, time heals all wounds or whatever. Like,
No,
you'll
it
eventually
doesn't. The
get
TA
over
was in
it.
my class. Like, I cannot get over this. I will not be getting over this, obviously. I thought I was.
Yeah.
And then I talked to those people.
It just floods back every time. Yeah.
The emotions.
Yeah.
You can't separate yourself from them, or what are you? Like, no better than a scarecrow, so...
So think about that.
Life advice from Whitney.
Wow. The real Whitney Z. Borer in the flesh.
That's me. I'm telling you, it's the hat.
Yeah.
I just look different today.
Yeah.
Hello?
I think it's mostly the hat, though.
Yeah, it has to be. Well, I think my eyes might have changed color.
It's a little greener. But I thought that was just, because the contrasting in the sky,
Oh. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
I can see you.
Wait, you can? Hold on.
Just look this way. Man. Well, what else should we say about Hunt for the Wilder People? We've done a pretty good summary, a pretty good analysis, a pretty good interpretation of themes. There are so many good things. And
the Cadbury
thing is,
theme.
Let's talk about that.
I don't think you don't get this unless you watch with subtitles, which I highly recommend every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's...
'Cause it's always better.
Yeah, so Cadbury in America is, like, good. Cadbury in Canada is better.
Mm-hmm.
Cadbury in Australia and New Zealand is, like, really good stuff. That's amazing, fantastic, high-quality chocolate, right? You get your Cadbury bars all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they have this bar there called Cadbury Flake. And it's in, like, it's big enough that it's in the McDonald's shakes, like, and in the KFC crushers, and, it's a big thing there, right? Mm-hmm. But if you watch in the scene in Hunt for the Wilder People, where Ricky meets what's-her-face for the first time, I don't remember her name, that teenage girl that's riding a horse, right? Mm-hmm. She brings him back to her farm. Anyways, he sees her, while she's trying to talk to him, his mind just blanks out, and you can see in the subtitle what's playing is the Cadbury Flake commercial. And it's like chocolatey, like...
Yeah. It's just describing, like, a delicious candy bar.
Yeah.
But I love
hilarious,
it represents, like, to him in his mind, like, this is real love and beauty and happiness. You're right. Cadbury Flake.
What's her face? Like, they're on the same level.
They're the same thing. She, like, has such long, beautiful hair, and, like, the sun is shining behind her, and he's like... Cadbury Flake, These are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, like, it's such a, like, childish but very, like, real and relatable way to, like, express something like that. Like, oh, the highest joy that you could experience.
Cadbury Flake.
Just like Cadbury Flake.
Yeah.
Like
they're the same.
These are the same thing.
They're the same thing. And then, man, while he's in her house and they're all offering him sausages and stuff, and... The way she's just so chill with her dad, and they're like, oh, my mom died, just kidding, she's at work, like. Yeah. But then his dad's like, oh my gosh, you were the Ricky Baker, and he's got to get selfies with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, so stay Maori, bro, we could use a few more good Maoris like you.
Yeah.
I'm imparting my knowledge on the bro.
Yeah, it's so good, their moment of, like, solidarity.
Yeah, and Ricky's just like, he's not even into it. He's like, what's going on? And this guy's like,
tired, and he's like, I don't really understand, like... Because he didn't become famous on purpose. No. He became famous by being off the grid. So now that he's back on the grid, he's like, what are you talking about?
What's going on?
And he's, like, tired, because he's been in the bush for months on end, getting yelled at by heck.
All he's trying to do is save this guy, that they do a really poor rendition of a diabetic condition. Mm-hmm. I think they were trying to display, like, ketoacidosis or something.
Mm-hmm.
But in their version of it, he, like, passed out and he was, like, in this weird position and he was not breathing. In reality, they breathe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because otherwise
like this.
You would have to die.
Yeah. Like, one, even if you're in rigor mortis, why would you be like this?
Yeah, like, what were you doing?
Like, what were you doing before laying on the bed to be looking like that?
Yeah. Because if you were just laying on the bed, you would be in a normal lying down position.
Yeah. Like, medically, completely wrong.
Yeah.
But it adds to
the comedically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just...
Awesome. They're like...
They don't spontaneously come back to life if they're dead like that.
Right. Because
like, you'd have to rub sugar in their gums or something.
They would have to be breathing the whole time, right? Yeah. And so there wouldn't be that huge revival where they're, like, suddenly breathing again.
Like,
unless you do something. But they don't do anything. They just
he didn't do anything. He just was like... I think they poked him with a stick or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, like, they maybe poke him and think
yeah,
he's
and
dead. It's inaccurate,
comedic.
but it is funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it lends more to, like, you're in Ricky's mind, where he tells stories and he sometimes exaggerates. This guy got waterboarded, did you hear? Just for asking for more Weetabix. So, like, of course, if he sees somebody who's, like, a little bit sick, he's gonna be like, he was totally dead, and he was curled up like a bug. And then, you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna kind of exaggerate, and so that's the way that we see the film. Like, when he's hungry, he sees Heck as a talking hamburger. And when this guy is sick, he sees him, he is literally dead and he's curled up like a bug. Like, you know? That's how his mind works.
Yeah.
And when you're having a good and happy time, it's a Cadbury Flake commercial.
It is. It's a Cadbury Flake commercial.
What can you do?
I mean, why isn't everything a Cadbury Flake commercial? Honestly.
We're asking the real questions here.
That's what I do. Yeah. Anything else?
I feel like we always get to this point where there's, like, so much that we've said, but then still so much that we haven't said, and all we can really wrap up with is you should watch this movie.
Watch the movie.
Like, if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a chance, invite some friends over and make it a thing, so you can celebrate instead of just being like, oh wow, this is, like, really sad.
You've got to have sausages or something.
Have some snacks.
Yeah.
Have a good time. If you have seen it before, watch it again.
Host a watching party. What are you doing?
Invite your friends.
Invite
Be
your
like,
friends.
have you ever seen this
Invite
movie?
us.
Invite us.
Like, if you're seeing this, you most likely know at least one of us.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, what are you doing? Don't hesitate. Give us a little call or a text and say, I'm watching Hunt for the Wilder People.
We will
This
be there.
time, this day, these snacks will be there.
Give me an hour's notice. I'll drop what I'm doing. Hunt for the Wilder People's worth it. Will I get
That's
fired? Maybe. Who knows? Do I care?
Maybe. Who
Later.
knows?
In the moment?
You don't care now, but you will care in a month when you're like, oh, shoot, I'm running out of money.
Need that dough.
Yeah.
Okay, also, can I just point out how we look kind of like we're still on Zoom because of that tree?
Yeah, like we got
And the
like,
sky is different. Like, you have white sky,
we
I
have
have
very
clouds.
different backgrounds.
Yeah. And even the way you're...
Let's trade so people know that we're not faking it. It's not an edit. We're
Are you gonna
really...
make me get up?
Yeah,
Girl.
mostly me. Ta-da! See? It's real. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we could
We're
have proved
gonna
it that
double
way.
Yeah, but maybe my editing skills have just gotten really good.
You're probably really good by now.
Maybe.
I mean, okay, but those... the screenshots... I was driving.
That's
mind
what
you.
I've gotten the most compliments on for the entire time that we've had this channel.
Good.
So many people have pointed out the screenshots. I thought it was funny, so I'm
It
glad
was
it
hilarious.
lands.
Yeah. I don't love you broadcasting my private text conversations like that.
But they're so fast.
But
I mean, you'd
it
have to
was-
really,
You don't have to pause
work
and
to
zoom
read
in
them
to read
all,
them,
yeah.
so I think I'm okay with it, but
Sorry to put you on blast, but it was funny.
it's pretty good. And just how the us kept moving, and so I would be in front of just all the copious amounts of texts, screenshots after screenshot after screenshot.
It's a private text. It's a group text. It's a Snapchat. It's a Marco Polo.
But you mean I still stand by that I didn't go off that much about it.
No, there always could be more that you could say.
Yeah.
Like,
If you want an update.
again,
week,
since
maybe.
everyone watching pretty much knows us,
TA's a jerk face. You just say that.
like, to give you a 3 out of 50
During our
during
class,
and
like,
then
it came in, and then she gets up and presents. I'm like, okay, why don't I just turn in my peer evaluation on you? 3 out of 50. See how you like that. Like, I'm not even gonna bother hiding my name.
No. We're gonna
Why
know.
should I?
You
Is it
signed
petty?
love Whitney at the bottom. Just so everybody knows.
Borer, Whitney, because you bored me. Like, my goodness.
Borer, I hardly know.
Touche. What I do know about her, I don't love. We'll put her there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm over
It's
it.
Totally good. Yeah, because time heals all wounds and we're fine and we're past it and everything's fine.
Time doesn't heal all wounds. Look at this burn.
Dude.
Can you see this burn?
You do. I burned yourself, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I was making chocolate and it was getting too cold. And so to temper the chocolate, I have this heat gun. And it was just sitting on the counter with like the gun part up. But it wasn't on. Well, maybe it was on. I don't remember. Either way, it was hot.
Okay.
And I guess I didn't notice. I don't know how it scarred immediately. So I don't know how I didn't notice that I was resting on it I don't know how long
it just hit your nerve
Yeah.
perfectly.
Well, I don't know how long it took. I don't know if I took it off immediately or if it was like sitting there for a little while.
Right. And you just didn't notice.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Time does not heal that wound. That scar tissue gonna be here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I still have this scar from when I was 14. So, yeah. Anyways,
Time heals some wounds.
time partially heals most wounds.
Yes.
Or you could bleed out.
Mm-hmm.
That's also an option.
And then over time, your body ascends, your spirit ascends to another plane of existence, which in a way is also healing.
True.
So,
But your body decomposes.
yes.
And that wound just gets worse.
Heals the wound of your carbon footprint on the world.
It's a circle of life. Have we done the Lion King yet?
No. We could. We
Could be
could add
fun.
it to the spreadsheet.
Well, I mean, Hamlet.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's true. And we do talk about Hamlet a lot, so maybe we've kind of already got it covered.
It's my specialty.
Well, can you think of anything else to say?
I can actually. Hold
Okay.
that thought.
Okay.
Oh, kitties. Oh, the mom's in there.
Just pick it up way too casually.
I was gonna bring Wilbur up. See, Hunt for the Wilder people, you should watch it.
Yeah.
But
I'm holding that thought. Oh, bye.
buckets. Go be. Go. Still too soon.
Yeah.
Your cat's glaring at me. Oh, we've locked eyes. Never mind.
So anyway,
So
I was like, I'll
anyways.
just move on.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching / listening. This once again has been Women in STEM with your usual hosts, actual women in actual STEM, like always. I don't know, do you have any words of advice for people until next time, or
Hunt for the Wilbur people. Watch it.
watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Watch it. Oh, I pointed, but I accidentally pointed at you instead
Watch
of the
it.
camera, so I was like, watch it.
I didn't mean it. They're not loaded.
Okay. Mine are.
Any other words of advice though?
Stay in school until you're done and then leave.
That's what I did. When brushing your teeth, go in circles. That's actually the most effective way.
True.
Mm-hmm. I would also
Don't forget
say.
your tongue, also.
Oh yeah. Ew.
Yeah.
That's like a. You should know that.
Mm-hmm. What else? Remember to wear sunscreen. Because some of us are going to get cancer, and some of us are less likely to get cancer. So, think about that.
Is it all that bad though?
I couldn't tell you. I wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, just keep doing good things and stop doing bad things.
Yeah.
That's my last piece of advice for today, I think.
Mm-hmm. I would echo that, and maybe add drink water.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are only drinking Mountain Dew,
Stop it.
stop it.
What's wrong with you?
Drink water.
Mm-hmm.
And their argument is always, well, Mountain Dew is mainly water. That's the most highest ingredient.
It's like, yeah, but it's kind of counteracted by all the other
It's
stuff
like
that's
battery
in there.
acid.
You could just drink water, too.
More water.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have
You
Mountain
can drink
Dew.
other
I don't
stuff,
care what else you drink.
But just also drink more water than you're drinking. Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's
good
all.
advice.
Yeah, thank you.
See you guys next time.
Cheers.